Hi everybody, this is Nina at Mariposa and Vine, and this is a shout out to Velocityvette response video to something that I learned from her first. I have to also say that Rach0113 also has a video teaching this technique, but this is on making the faux carnival glass or whatever it's called, pendants. Just wanted to show you the things that I used and what I ended up making. So this is typically made with the Ranger Essentials memory glass, and I could not find any of that locally, but what I did find was this bead landing soldering glass. Comes in a pack of 12 for $6.99 or something like that, so it's a little bit more expensive than the memory glass, but I could get it. So 6 pieces of the 1x1 and 6 pieces of the 2x2 here. I couldn't find bezels, so we're without bezels at the moment. Hopefully the Essentials bezels will fit this with this glass. So just wanted to show you that there are some alternatives if you can't get certain things locally. This I found at Michael's in the beading section, and there's a whole section of stuff made by bead landing. You can look at look for this kind of lavenderish pink color. The whole section uses that color. So that should be easy to find for you if you have a Michael's nearby. So the other things that you need for this project are your embossing powders. Some people like to use ultra thick. From what I have seen, I didn't have any ultra thicks of the color, so this is what I use, because I have purchased most of these secondhand. The only one that I bought at retail was this one for $1.99, which I got at a Tuesday morning locally. It's a brand that I've never heard of, but I'm kind of new to this whole artsy craftsy side of things using embossing powders. I did find this one, which is Stamp Stuff embossing powder called Sahara Pearls that I used. I got that for $1 at, I think all of these came from the Scrap Exchange, and they were all like 75 cents or $1. This one's called Chameleon, and this one is Aegean Silver. Both of them are Judikins brand. And then I did end up buying the UTEE, the clear, from my Michael's store. I used my coupon on this, so this is the Ranger Ultra Thick, and I have a billion gallons of it, it looks like, so this should last me forever. Excited about that. And then the last thing you need for this, as far as supplies that you might not have, is fantasy film. I'm going to put a link down in the comments section on where I get my fantasy film. There are a lot of different colors, but I only have 4 of them right now. And then I bought some fantasy fibers too to play with also. An inspiration from Miss Velocityvette Jane. So anyway, here's what I did. This one is a little dragonfly, at least part of one, on one of the 1-inch ones. I used the Sahara sand color, and I think I used this clear fantasy film on it, and you know, I like it. It doesn't have a lot of play. There's a little bit of greenish in it, but mostly it's just yellow. So I might need to use a different color of fantasy film on top of it to give it a little bit more depth. This, you guys have seen one of my favorite stamps with the Nautilus. I'm a big fan of Jacques Cousteau back in the day, and I love the way this one played. I started the base of this one with the Carolina Blue, Carolina Blue embossing powder from American Crafts, it looks like. And then I added the lavender fantasy film on top of that. So I like that. There's some blues and greens. It almost looks like mother of pearl or the inside of an abalone shell, which is kind of the effect I was going for with a Nautilus. I love the way the script is there, and you know, it looks like it's kind of faded here. So That's going to make a very pretty pendant. Third one I did was this cool stamp here. This was a color called Chameleon, and it's kind of purple. It's got purple and clear, and it was a really purpley color, actually. It looks very different. It's very purple. And then I put the clear, I think, fantasy film on it, and I got this kind of reddish purple. It's more of a, I don't know how to describe this color, but in certain light there's a little bit of a copper sheen to it, and I like the way that turned out. The stamp didn't stamp all that dark. I'm not quite sure why, maybe because the background was so dark to begin with, but it almost looks like the face is floating in there. It's pretty cool. I ended up liking that one. And then the last one I did was this Bingo. This was the Aegean Silver as the base. And then I used, again, the clear fantasy film, I think. It was either the clear or the purple. Maybe it was the purple. Yes, it was the purple. And I had a couple of scraps, so I just wanted to see what happened if you put more than one piece of the fantasy film on here. And you can see the seam, but the top and the bottom look really different. So if you wanted to play around with creating a little bit more texture or whatever, it depends on the effect you're looking at. I probably wouldn't do this again. And this one I had a little bit of trouble because I put the second piece on after the embossing powder had cooled off a little bit, so it didn't stick quite as well. But of course, if I were to put a frame around this, that would be taken care of. So you can probably see the purples and the greens and the funky goldish sheen. This one kind of reminds me of how light plays off an oil slick. You know, gasoline and a little oil in a water puddle. But those are the ones that I've been playing with, and thank you, Velocityvette Jane, for your tutorial on fantasy film. I think you were the first person who I learned about it from, and I'm excited about playing with it more. So I'll show you more later. This is Nina with Mariposa and Vine, and I hope you guys are well. Please leave some comments, and I'll talk to you soon.